Our fourth and final example of assessments on Extempore for speaking and writing are free talks and free writes. How much can the learner say in the target language about a given topic? Now, at a novice level, what this means is that the student is just saying however much they can in the target language. They only just started learning. But eventually, you reach a point with intermediate learners or advanced learners where you have to narrow that down to a specific theme, because we don't want them just saying whatever they can say, because at some point we want to make sure that they can talk about what we've been learning at an advanced level. And so say you're teaching an AP class and your theme is on global challenges. Well, you might start that theme in, say, early February, and then you want to assess them around mid-March or so. Well, if you haven't taught that before, there's a good chance that they probably won't be able to talk too much about certain global challenges. But given whatever you taught in those few weeks or so, you can then assess and give them a free write or a free talk and say, hey, talk about as much as you can about global challenges using the language that we've learned over the past few weeks. And so what that does is it measures how much have they acquired in that content, in that unit, over that period of time by allowing them to talk about whatever they want in the target language related to that theme. Now you might give them a push and say, hey, here's one global challenge, how might we solve this? Or here's another global challenge, you can talk about global warming or environmental challenges, how might we solve those challenges? Just to give them a push and push them in the right direction and let them sort of start to think of a response as opposed to saying, oh, I'm stuck, I don't know what to talk about. Give them a few ideas that they could talk about. But then eventually let them go on their own, see how much they can say, and that's a really good way to measure what they've learned and what they've acquired over that period of time. So the example I have here in our blog this is a very basic novice free write for my level 1s. This is our first free write. Write as much as you can in Chinese. Introduce yourself, say your name, your nationality. I'm not going to say that. That's what I hope they can do at this point, right? How much can they say? And then the other example that I have here is a timed one that I do on Extempore. Give them a little time limit. And this is talking about our weekend where the student sees an image. You see some characters, you see some places. This is talking about the weekend. Can you talk about these people? Can you talk about the relationships that they have with one another? Can you talk about where they're going? Can you talk about when they go there? As much as you can about the image below, right? I don't like to push them too much and make them, sort of pressure them into saying, oh, I have to write about this or I have to write about that. No, write what you can based on what you see. And that tells me, the teacher, how much can you do with this language that we've been using over the past few weeks. So it's a really easy way to do. You could do this with writing and obviously with speaking. And I've talked about free writes and free talks a lot already recently, have their own blog posts on them from about a year ago or so ago. And then we also did a blog on these and a webinar from our practical proficiency in a pandemic little collaboration with our friends from Avant. That's ways that you can use free talks and free writes for speaking and writing assessments on Extempore.